Hello there, it's Monday the 2nd of May 2016, bank holiday. Hope you're enjoying your bank holiday. Maybe some of you are down the seaside, or some of you are at home like me. It's been a very nice day out this morning. I've been pottering around the garden as always, watching my my magnolia tree has flowered. It's very interesting actually. The tree, the flowers on this come before the tree. So you've got this almost like a twig, because it's only small at the moment. I only planted it a few weeks ago. This tree is about, I don't know, about a foot high, maybe a little bit taller than that, and it's just like a twig. It was just like a twig in the ground, and it's covered in flowers and big white flowers. Not a single leaf on there. And after making my inquiries, I find out that the leaves come later on the magnolia tree. I should have taken a picture of it actually and brought it in. Maybe tomorrow we'll do a little picture of that. And then I was being followed. I was being followed in my own garden. No, sadly not by that 30-year-old scaffolder with tattoos, but I was being followed by a little blue butterfly. And I thought, I want to have a closer look at it, because it was fluttering everywhere. It was flutter, 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 flutter. Flutter, 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 flutter. And I thought, I must catch it and have a, but I was worried about squashing it, so I just let it go. Tiny little blue butterfly it was. Very pretty. But I haven't, and then out the front side, I've got some massive lilies growing at the moment. Now, lilies, you've got to be careful with those because of the red lily beetle. You spot one and you must spray. Either that or go out twice a day and have a good look for those. And you can't miss them. These red lily beetles are probably maybe a little bit smaller than ladybirds, but they will eat all the leaves. If you go out there and find a couple of them on there, at night time and leave them, come the morning, just stalks up in the ground. So you must spray when you get the little the evil red lily beetle munching away at my leaves. And they go in straight lines, don't they? And I spotted a red lily beetle out there, so I gave that a spray. Fortunately, though, no sign yet. Well, there has been, I say no sign of the snails, the evil snails, okay? But I have found a couple of troughs. Now, again, like the red lily beetles, you can't leave them alone, dear. No, you've got to get those blue slug pellets straight down the moment you've seen one. So I covered, because there's like a communal path outside my house. But then after my house, the path ends. So it's like my own private path, dear. Oh yes, I've got my own like driveway down. Well, although I suppose you get a small car down there, but you're not supposed to because it's like a path. But the path, it goes sort of to the end of my house and then just stops. And then after me are bushes and a little area that I sort of look after with plants and things like that. Anyway, I saw these couple of slug trails over that. That's evil. So down have gone the blue pellets, and that you've got to stop those as soon as you see those. Don't leave it for a couple of days, because those two troughs will turn into 200 by Thursday. I'm telling you that now. Get those slug pellets down, because we are going to be invaded. We are about to be invaded by hundreds and hundreds of slugs and snails, boys and girls. This was in the Daily Mail last week. I remember I was just trying to look for the story now, but I couldn't find it. So get those pellets down, or whatever you do to get rid of snails. Either that or go out there every 3 hours and pick them up and throw them away. Oh, can you eat those snails? Look, I found some stories, and while I was searching for the Daily Mail story of the snails, I didn't find that one. But look at this. Now, this is from the Daily Mail in India. What began as an adventure turned into a nightmare when 8 trekkers, this is from March, in Manali, Himanchi Pradesh, found themselves trapped inside Chandakani Pass for more than 70 hours. And these people, they say they lost their way and reached Footsword village. Suddenly the weather changed and it started snowing. They were stuck in a deserted place. Anyway, it goes on. Now let me find that bit there. Where is it now? It goes on. I can't find that bit now. Just a second. We survived by eating boiled snails. Student trekkers rescued from deadly pass were trapped without food for 3 days. They ate boiled snails. Oh. I mean, you do see people, you know, they've got this little shell thing and they're picking it out with a little stick. Oh, that's not all. Also, I found this story. I mean, you think we got it bad here with the small snails coming across paths eating our plants. In Florida, South Florida, this is on the BBC news site. Now, this is from a couple of years ago, this one. South Florida is battling a growing infestation of the giant African land snail. The snail is considered to be one of the most destructive invasive species, feeding on more than 500 plants. They're deadly, dear. Deadly. Well, deadly to the plants. Does it say that you can eat them there? A typical snail can produce 1,200 eggs a year. 1,200 eggs a year, yeah. They've been known to carry a parasitic rat lungworm that can cause illness in humans. Deadly, dear. Massive snails. It doesn't go on there. I mean, the bad news just carries on. Hang on a minute. Where's the other one? Where's the other one there? Oh, yes. And the other thing, I'm typing in snails, of course. And apparently there is a band known as the Snails. Did you know that? I don't know what the music's like. But they're in concert soon in US. So if you're a US person and you know the Snails, just go sliding over to them, boys and girls, and you can go and watch them. That's the Snails in concert. Anyway, that's enough of snail news. I meant to tell you yesterday, on my way to Norfolk, the drive to here where I've just been on holiday to Haven Holidays in Wild Duck Park in Norfolk. The actual journey there is quite nice, you know, once you get off the M25. It's very, very pretty. You go through these fields and there's a lot of that rape oil. What's it called? You know, the yellow... Is it rape seed? Hang on, let me type. I'll just check that. I think it's called rape seed. Hang on. Rape. Is that what it... Yes, rape seed. Rape seed. Beautiful yellow flowers on either side of the main roads. Also, I saw something that I thought was quite cute. Now, I'm not one for eating animals, dead or alive, comes to that, as you well know, vegetarian. However, I saw little pig farms. But they weren't like those awful factory farming things that I've seen on YouTube. That's basically what made me become vegetarian, watching all those awful different types of factory farming, not just with pigs, with many other animals. But nevertheless, as I'm driving through, I looked over and I saw these little houses, like little curved houses, like I don't know what shape you could, like half an oblong, you know, like an arched window. And I thought, well, they look good, you know, and they were all in little rows. And do you know what they were? Little pig houses. Little pig houses. And there were mummy pigs and the little babies running around in the field, and they looked as happy as anything. I have to say that. And I thought, you know, if I was a meat eater and I saw that, I would be happier knowing that that's how that little creature had grown up. In these little houses like that they are, and all in neat rows, and they all seem to have their own ways. There was no fighting among the pigs. They were all running around, happy as little things, happy as little piglets they were. So I thought that was really nice, watching that as I came through there. I also saw a couple of very large solar farms. Now, I've never really seen these before, directly. I've seen pictures of them, you know, and think, oh, right, you know. But when you're driving along and you see these, it's just basically a big field with all these solar panels kind of, you know, tilted towards the south. Loads and loads of them like that. And I thought that was very good as well, really. And the windmills, because I quite like the windmills. Although I have to say, when we went to the zoo, do you remember we went to the zoo? I think that was on... was it? It was either Tuesday or Wednesday last week. It was blooming cold there. Very cold there. But right next to the zoo were two of those massive wind turbines. And I don't think you realise how big they are until you get right up to them. And we were just, I don't know, 100 foot away from one of these wind turbines. Now, I've never really had a problem with these things before. I don't think they're ugly. I think they're necessary to try and wean us off coal and things like that. Although you can't do it just with wind, you know. I think with the various different types of renewable energy, it's got to be a mix of several things. You know, solar panels, completely useless during the night time, of course. Wind things, and you know, big batteries to hold all the energy that's not being used, so it's released later on when there is no wind or sun, that sort of thing. And as I say, I've never really had a problem with those. I don't think they're ugly at all, but I was looking at this thing and I'm thinking, oh, I can hear a plane somewhere in the distance, you know. And then I became aware that the noise of the plane wasn't going. And in fact, it wasn't a plane. It was the turbine. You could actually hear it. And it was okay for me, you know, just walking around just for a few minutes. And indeed, I think really you became used to the noise. I didn't really notice it until I looked and thought, I wonder if it's still making that noise. And then you could hear it again. So it's kind of a noise that you could possibly ignore. Now, if you lived in a house that was near a wind turbine farm at night time with, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 of these things going, I would imagine that's not a very pleasant experience. I don't know if it was the position of the thing, but I'm not actually 100% sure that it was that making the noise. But it sounded like it, you know, because as the that it was like, how can I put it? It was like the timing between the noise was the same all the time. So possibly I might be changing my opinion about wind turbines, and it's certainly where to put them. You know, if you put them right out in the water, then that's probably not a problem, is it? You know, but maybe you live near a wind turbine, do you? If you do, or you've actually been to visit one or been to a wind turbine farm, I'd love to hear from you. Maybe if you put a message underneath this show, or indeed send in an email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I'd be just interested to know, what is that like? Do they actually make a noise like that? Okay, let us know under there. Finally today, I'm very pleased to see in this week's Super Soaraway Daily Mail, restaurants are to be banned from adding a service charge under new law allowing customers to opt in to leave a tip. Now, I've always thought a little bit, I'm not sure about this. You know, when you get your bill and it says service charge has been added at 10%. You know, it's for me to decide whether you get that 10% tip or not. If you've looked after me all right, and I'm not saying going over the top. I think sometimes, you know, like in TGI Fridays, they're a little bit over the top in there sometimes. Is everything all right? Oh, go away. We're eating, dear. Go away. Is everything? No, I'm just checking. Yes, go away, dear. You'll get your tip. And I really don't agree with having service charges added. It says new laws could also make them spell out that tipping is always voluntary. Customers would have to opt in to make extra payment, and bosses would not be able to suggest an amount. And I think one of the reasons they're doing this, and I happen to know, it's very similar for bar staff actually. It's often the case, if you've got that bit of paper at the bottom and you know you've added 10% and it's gone through on your credit card, it's often the case that the person who served your dinner, who you want to have the tip, doesn't actually go to them. It either goes into the company concerned, which is a bit unfair, isn't it? You know, or into the manager's pocket, okay? Or is spread out among all the other waiters. Now, I can understand that one, spread out among all the other waiters. But even so, I haven't tipped that guy over there, you know? I've tipped you. And I want you to have the tip. Now, if I'm looked after in a restaurant or somewhere like that, I've got to tell you, I actually tip quite well, believe it or not. I know some of you might find that hard to believe, but I do tip quite well. We went out to when we went to Gary's birthday party last week. I tipped them. I think it was 10 quid or 15 quid or something like that. You know, because they really looked after us. There was how many of us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 6 of us there, and they looked after us. We Stacey, that's Gary's wife, brought a cake in, and I said, "Can you present this cake?" "Oh yeah, no problem at all." And they lit the candles. 2 of them came over, sung happy birthday, and done that whole thing, you know. So there, yeah, a tip there. But I wanted them to have the tip, not the bloke who's at the till, or the bloke in the office counting the money, or the company concerned. I wanted that person who had looked after me to have the tip. Therefore, you know, tenner from my hand into his hand, it was her actually, from a tenner from my pocket to her pocket, and that's it. Not to some company. So I'm quite pleased to see that. Once again, that headline there, restaurants are to be banned from adding service charge in a new law, allowing customers to opt in. So that is good. That is good. It follows rows over firms taking tips to make up for the costs of the living wage. I mean, it's just grab, isn't it, by some of these people? Anyway, that's it today on this Bank Holiday Monday. Tonight, if you're around in Islington, King's Cross area, I'll be hosting karaoke at Central Station Bar together with Cheap Drinks. That's every Monday, including tonight, this bank holiday. Karaoke and Cheap Drinks at Central Station in Wharfdale Road, King's Cross, and that starts at 8 o'clock. Doesn't go on too late till 11:30 tonight, okay? Have a lovely Monday. See you soon.